Welcome to the Ear for Fear podcast, the horror movie podcast that boils and ghouls and dead alike are screaming for. Don't be afraid to listen as Rick and the Creeps bore their way into your brains, slither down onto your arteries, into your still beating hearts.
Hi, welcome to Ear for Fear. This is Rick, and this is the podcast that talks about scary movies or movies trying to be scary. Today, we're going to be chatting about 1976's Carrie, directed by Brian De Palma, joined by one of the creeps. Morris is in the house.
Hey, what's up, man?
Monster Movie Man 13.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not checking him out, check him out. Show him some love. Before you and I jump into this thing, let's do a quick synopsis. Carrie is a shy, friendless teenage girl who is sheltered by her domineering and very religious mother. After being humiliated by her classmates at her senior prom, she unleashes her telekinetic powers that has tragic consequences. All right, man. So, Carrie, is Brian De Palma your favorite director? Or one of your favorite directors?
He's actually one of my favorite directors. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is probably one of my favorite movies. So unfortunately, I'm biased, and I know that we're going to be giving spoilers.
Yeah. Thank you. Because I never remember to say spoilers.
Yeah.
I don't. But I think if people are listening to us, they kind of know.
Right.
And before Carrie, he did what? Sisters, Obsession, and there was another movie he did.
Phantom of Paradise.
Phantom. I'll be honest, I haven't seen Sisters, and I haven't seen Obsession or Phantom of Paradise.
I've seen Obsession once. Really, really good. Not great, and I'm probably more of a fan of Sisters. But Phantom of Paradise, which is crazy because I think it came out around the same time as
it did.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I think it came out in 75, maybe 74.
I thought it came out in 76, which is weird because Carrie came out in 76.
Oh, did it come out in 76?
So I don't know if it was filmed and then it was released, and then I thought that's what I had saw.
I know it was filmed before Carrie. I just didn't know the year. But I think it was a little bit of Brian De Palma's answer to, Rocky Horror.
Okay.
Because it's a musical. It's got a story, and it's kind of that, the story of Faust, which is
Faust.
Faust,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because the guy selling his soul to the devil.
Yeah.
And a little bit of the Robert Johnson. Just
Uh-huh.
It's basically that story.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Is it a good movie? It's okay.
You know what? I don't have the appreciation for it as other people. I can appreciate that it's a Brian De Palma film.
Yeah.
I don't own a copy, and I used to own a copy. So if that tells you anything.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, yeah.
So and I've only seen it like 2.5 times. I should probably give it another rewatch just to see if my feelings have changed towards it.
Yeah, it's possible.
But, yeah.
I mean, Brian De Palma, I think this was last year. I went on a little bit of a kick because I knew of his movies, but I hadn't seen a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then and you and I were chatting about this. I think I watched Blowout and Body Double and Dress to Kill.
Yes.
And of course, Carrie. But he definitely has a style.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say he's definitely influenced by Alfred Hitchcock, right?
He is.
Yeah. Cause he has kind of similar style of Hitchcock. What I love about Brian De Palma's work is the shots, the close-up shots where, and I don't know if there's a name for it, but the perspective, like say, okay, there's a scene in Carrie where I think Carrie is sitting in the she's getting ready to go see the principal. And there's a scene where you can see her face and it's really close up, but then the secretary is in the background, but the perspective feels like they're right next to each other.
She's in the foreground, and the secretary's in the background. Also, like when they're in class with that Mr. Sidney Lassick's character.
Oh, Mr. Fromm.
Mr. Fromm's class.
When he's talking about
the poems.
Tommy's poem. Yeah.
Right.
And
Tommy's in the foreground and Carrie's in the background.
Yeah. But is there a name for that perspective? Because
there
De Palma
is,
does that a lot.
And obviously I don't know what it is.
But I'm sure
should
look that up.
A film fan or a film student would know that. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah,
I've heard it before, but
he loves that shot.
Oh yeah, he also loves split screen.
Yes, the split screen, and he does that in Carrie, and they really work. I mean, like they work really well in this.
Yeah,
and I think he was going to do more of the split screen in Carrie, but he felt maybe it wasn't going to be as effective, and he does it, of course, at the end, and it's super effective,
incredibly effective.
And so yeah, I mean, I dig. Probably not as much as you, and I haven't seen as many Brian De Palma films as you have, but I do like his movies.
Yeah.
But Carrie was based off of a story by Stephen King, which most movies or most horror movies, it seems like, especially in the 70s and 80s, were a Stephen King adaptation. You know,
this was Stephen King's first published novel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think I'd read he only got they gave him like $2,500 for it or something. And at the time he was like, hey, I was just happy
to get it published.
They were just using my book for a movie. And of course, the rest is history with Stephen King. But before we kind of start talking about the movie, so we know Brian De Palma, Stephen King wrote it. Carrie is played by Sissy Spacek,
who was like 26 at the time that this was made.
But dude, she passes for a teenager.
Exactly. She's
great in this. She's really good in this. The mother, or Margaret, is played by Piper Laurie. Sue is Amy Irving, which I didn't realize she was married to Steven Spielberg.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I
remember
didn't know this. I'd looked up. I was looking up stuff because she's very pretty, by the way.
Yes.
And there was a thing that I read where it said Brian De Palma called up Steven Spielberg. He goes, hey, you got to come down to the set of Carrie. We got a lot of pretty women here. I think it's kind of fucked up. I don't, that's kind of messed up. And then Steven Spielberg struck out with like everybody except for, I guess, Amy Irving, which they ended up marrying.
Right.
And then they divorced and she got $100 million.
Oh yeah. At the time it was the biggest Hollywood divorce settlement in history.
Nuts. That is nuts to get. And they weren't married long, maybe 5-6 years or something. Yeah,
something like 5 years. Yeah.
Billy is played by John Travolta. This was around the time he was doing Welcome Back, Kotter.
It was
Mr. Kotter. And then Chris is played by Nancy Allen. She's in a lot of Brian De Palma movies. Were they married?
They were married.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to say they probably got married after this movie.
Yeah. Okay. And then character Miss Collins, I forget the actress. Norma.
Betty Buckley.
Betty Buckley. Okay.
And Betty Buckley was only 29 at the time that this was.
I read that. So she looks so much older than them,
so much
right?
older than the rest of the girls.
That's the thing that, okay, and I know Jake brought this up in a previous episode, I think, or him and I have had a side conversation. If you go back to 70s and 80s, and you look at someone and you look at their age, they seem so much older than like nowadays.
Think about Ed Asner back in the Mary Tyler Moore show.
Mary Tyler Moore.
He looked like he was already in his 60s.
Dude, he looked like 50 or 60.
He was probably like in his late 30s.
Isn't it weird though? It's odd, man, because she easily looked like she could be in her, I don't know, 30s or 40s, but she's in her late 20s.
Yeah. And
so it's just, I don't know if it's just we look at people differently through a different lens.
Yeah.
So nowadays, because like you and I, I'm almost 50.
Yeah.
You're over 50.
Yeah.
But I think we look pretty damn good for our age, if I do say so ourselves.
I did up until I was probably 42, I had people saying that I looked like I was barely 30.
But could you imagine what we would like? People would like if we were look like we do now through a lens of like say the 70s or 80s.
Oh, yeah.
They probably think we're like 70 or something. Dude, we're like some ancient fucks, you know?
Probably.
But it's just weird. I know Jake had brought this up before. It's just strange to look at people that way. Let's see. Norma is played by PJ Souls.
Yes.
Which, of course, people would remember her from the original Halloween. What was up with her damn bangs? Dude, I couldn't deal with her hair.
Really?
I could not deal. She wore a hat, but she had these weird bangs throughout Carrie. It bothered the hell out of me. Mr. Fromm is the teacher. Mr. Morton's the principal. And Freddie comes into play later. He's a friend of... I guess kind of all of them, Tommy and Sue and all of them.
Oh, little side note. The woman that played Sue Snell's mother is her real mother in real life.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I forget what her name was. She looked familiar, like we'd seen her in something
Priscilla
else.
Pointer is her name, but yeah, she just went by Mrs. Snell.
She reminded me of like, she was very fitting of the mothers of the 70s. She looked like that quintessential mother of the 70s,
totally.
Right? Yeah. But I think that's the kind of the main characters. I think I think so. I mean, there's a few other people here and there, but they're just, I don't think they're as important to the film.
Right.
I think those are the kind of the main people, main actors, main characters. And this movie is both character driven and plot driven, right? I mean, it's you have to really feel for these characters. Especially Carrie. Like I said, dude, I've seen this several times over the years, and I rewatched it last night for the episode. Sissy Spacek was fantastic in this movie.
My God.
Just phenomenal, dude.
I would say the two best is Sissy Spacek and Piper Laurie. They make the movie.
Oh my God. Her mother is crazy as shit, dude. She is crazy.
She embodies this character, and no other adaptation of this story even remotely comes close. And I know a lot of people that, especially, newer horror fans, they can't really get behind this movie because it's dated, it's very dated, but
it does feel 70s.
I can look past the datedness of this movie because the performances really drives the story.
It does drive the story. And see, you and I kind of growing up in this time frame, it's nostalgic for us. I mean, so but I bet if you had someone in their, I don't know, teens or 20s nowadays, they probably have a hard time digesting it because of how dated it looks.
Right. Just like the same way we had a little hard time with movies from the 40s because it's hard for me. I and you know this, and I probably said this on the podcast. It's hard. Like I don't know what it is with black and white film. I do respect it and its place, and probably Psycho is really, and The Wizard of Oz, but then The Wizard of Oz, because nowadays it has been colorized. Those are probably the only two movies that I can probably sit down and watch that are black and white. I don't know what it is. It's the stigma with me, and I don't know. I know they're great movies that are in black and white, and I appreciate their place in say film history, but it's hard, man. It's hard for me. You can definitely do it more so than I can. I can, but yeah, even I struggle on some stories.
Because you love the Universal monsters, and
I do.
And most of those, if not all those, were all those black and white, or most of them?
Yeah, they were all black and white.
All black and white, right? And
except for the colorized version of Phantom of the Opera from the early 40s.
Oh, okay.
That was,
so they
that
colorized them. Yeah.
Well, that one was shot in Technicolor.
Technicolor. Okay. Yeah. So we know what I love about this movie. He doesn't waste any time.
No, he goes right into the story.
Literally, as soon as the movie starts, they're playing volleyball, and Carrie is basically presented and this is the thing. It just looked like it was PE. That's all this look. So it's it's fucking PE. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's not like it's a game and she's on the team and she can't hit the last shot to win. Dude, it's PE. Who gives a shit?
You can tell that these girls have, especially driven by Chris, that they've had it out for Carrie for a while.
Yeah. And Carrie, I mean, so, and it doesn't make it right. I'm going to be very clear, but you can tell she's awkward.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know how to really talk with people or
Yeah.
associate with people. She's
Well, the thing is, she's very smart.
Yes.
She's very smart, and I think she's very quiet. And I think because of her mother, she doesn't really make friends that easily.
Yeah.
But you can even tell, of course, I'm fast forwarding, going to the prom. She's coming out of her shell. You could tell that
Yeah.
she integrates well, and the awkwardness was going away.
Yeah.
Even, again, I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit. Even Lisa and I have both, my wife and I have both, just kind of have a little conversation, being that, Tommy takes her to the prom, you know, that, and Sue is like, take Carrie to the prom, take Carrie to the prom. And he's like, why, just do it for me. We could tell that was probably the moment, if none of this happened, if life was just going on, that Tommy probably would have dumped Sue and probably would have dated Carrie.
You think that he would have
Lisa
dumped her,
Lisa and I both talked about this because we could just tell in the performance and their little nuances of what they were, how they were treating each other, that he was really, really starting to like her.
Yeah.
And
she's definitely,
and she was glowing too.
She really was glowing.
But I'm so jumping ahead.
No, it's okay.
Let's go.
It's all right.
Back to the volleyball game.
It's a volleyball game. Carrie misses the shot. They basically shit on her. I mean, every single one of them. And then they go to shower up, and this is the period scene where, because the mother, or Margaret, we'll just call her Mother, that she really hasn't. She's super duper religious, super duper over the top religious. Like, she's psycho religious.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Like, and what's funny is it seems like the religion she's preaching doesn't seem to be even in the Bible. I think I read that somewhere. Like, she's so crazy that the stuff she preaches, she will quote verses from the Bible, but the verses that she's quoting are not even in the Bible. That's how nuts she is. And so boys, and she preaches boys are, dirty and sin and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And so then when Carrie gets her period, and what is she, 17? Would you say she's about 17? It's a senior prom, 16, 17?
Yeah,
I would say 17.
17.
She's freaked out. Her mother never told her about this.
And for the fact that she carried this on for so long.
Yeah.
And this story is a slice. It's funny. It's like Carrie's had life with her mother for many years. She's gone through going to school and probably being bullied, But,
oh, yeah.
But we're getting just a little fraction of it.
We are.
And the fraction is because she has her period. This is when things change for her. So
kind of sets the ball in right.
It sets the ball of this particular story.
Yeah.
Because once she has her period, she gets her powers.
Yes. But the mother, okay, so let's not get too far ahead.
Right, that's true.
Because and we'll get to this, but the mother has brainwashed Carrie for years with this religion, and so she gets her period, and she doesn't know how to react. She's freaked out, man. She's crying, and so okay, so I do understand coming from these girls, and we've run through all the characters. They were really mean to her, but I will say this, and I am not defending them. The way she reacted was, I'm not saying I justify it, but I could almost see a little bit.
That it was annoying.
Annoying. It was annoying, but all the other stuff they did when they were throwing pads at her and tampons at her, that was uncalled for.
Even the teacher was like, Carrie, get a hold of yourself.
And then I think she slaps her. Yeah. So again, I wanna be perfectly clear. I'm not saying what they did was right, but I understand a little bit of the reaction and why they did it. Now, everything, because she had blood on her hands, and they were all dressed, and they were getting ready to go to the next class, or probably, I guess, maybe going home. Let's just say it was the last class of the day. She's touching them, and she's getting blood all over their clothes and stuff. And so I could see how that would be annoying. And
they're throwing the pads at her, and plug it up, and plug it up, plug it up.
And at that point, that's kind of fucked up. It's like, one of them, like say for instance, Sue, because Sue seems to be the most reasonable one.
Yeah.
She could have, look, hey, Carrie, let me help you. But all the other, they were just kind of all assholes. And
so you get caught up in mob mentality.
Yes, yes. And again, I believe it works for the film because all of this comes into play later. So
Well,
it's
you could see
know,
Sue's face change when the teacher got there,
Yeah.
and you could see on her face that she didn't really like what she did. You know?
Yes, correct. She felt embarrassed.
She did.
by her actions.
Right.
And so then Miss Collins calms her down. They go to the principal's office.
Mhm.
And this is where Mr. Morton comes into play, and he can't. This has irritated me, dude. He kept saying her name wrong, like
Right,
Miss
like-
Collins is saying her name is Carrie White,
Right.
and he kept calling her Cassie, and he kept doing it. Like, dude, it was like a few seconds would pass,
Right.
and he would call her Cassie, and it's just disrespectful.
It was disrespectful. It's almost like the point that they were trying to drive with the narrative was that she was such a wallflower that no one could even remember her name.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you kidding me? You know?
Yes. And I know she even corrects, she gets pissed off. And then I think that's when the ashtray,
she's like, my name's Carrie.
Because you could tell she's pissed.
Right.
She's looking down at the ashtray. It was just so fun. Dude, this is so dated. Like, do you remember you remember this when you could smoke in a restaurant, you could smoke in an office, you could smoke anywhere.
Right.
Now you can't, but
On an airplane.
On an airplane, the ashtray is literally sitting on his desk, and there's all these butts, and they're, and it's just funny, dude. I mean, hell, I remember us riding in cars without seatbelts.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a different time. It's so weird.
Riding in the bed of a truck.
Yes, riding in the bed of a truck.
Full kids.
Yes. Dude, it's nuts, man. And so but he keeps saying Cassie, and she corrects him. It's Carrie. And then it knocks so you're seeing.
Yeah, it flips and then hits the wall.
So you're seeing these, I don't think it hits the wall. I think it hit the ground.
Oh, it hit the ground.
Yeah, it hit the ground. Okay. But you're seeing a little bit of what she is.
Oh, yeah.
And then she's starting to, she's reading up on this. But she gets home. The reading up comes later. But she gets home and her mom gets a phone call, and
but her mom is going door to door to collect for the church.
Yeah, but is she really? So this is the thing.
I think she was.
She was.
Yeah,
but she knows that they're just going to give her money just to get rid of her,
right?
Because she's preaching whatever she's preaching,
right?
And she goes to Sue's house. Sue's house, and then the mother talks with the mom a little bit, blah blah blah, and then and so gives her, I think, $10.
Yeah,
she puts it in a little box, and she goes on her way. She gets home. Is Carrie already home? I think Carrie was already home. Yeah. And then she gets a phone call from the school. The school tells her she started her period, and then
and then of course it's Carrie's fault.
It's Carrie's fault. I know.
And
she sticks her in that room, which looks like she spent a ton of time in.
Oh yeah. It's almost like it's a redemption room,
Is that what that would be?
Well, yeah, just it's kind of a punishment / redemption room for her to
kind of cleanse her back to whatever.
It's to pray in, to pray for her sins.
And she's definitely spent a lot of time there. There's a little is that a little Jesus?
No, it's not Jesus.
What is
it?
What is that?
Oh gosh, I remember the name. And the name.
Anyway, that man, this religious figure, is on the wall. He's got knives in his stomach. She's got a candle, and she's got a Bible. So she spent a ton of time in there.
Right.
Then she eventually, I think she comes out, and then she didn't eat dinner, by the way, which is just. That kind of irritated me. No dinner.
Right.
And then she basically takes the blame for this. Like, it's her fault that she got her period, and her mother never even talked to her about this. Like, mother, why didn't you tell me about this?
Right. And her mother's like, first comes the blood, then come the boys, like dogs.
And then, and she's quoting all this stuff from some book. I don't know. It didn't look like a Bible, but it had something to do with sinners and all these other things. Did you find what it is?
No, not yet.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the mom has this way of making Carrie feel like shit, and everything is her fault.
Right.
And again, it's years and years of brainwashing her, but we also know Carrie's smart, man. So she, over time is going to figure some of this out. But I'm trying to remember. Okay. So So all the girls get in trouble from Miss Collins.
Yeah, and Miss Collins goes, kind of wild on them.
She's I want to say this. I know her intent was good, but dude, she's kind of a bitch, right? Like she slaps the girls, right?
Oh, she slapped Chris because Chris told her to F off.
Yeah. So dude, you can't get, oh my God.
Oh, even in today's world?
In today's world, no way in hell. First of all, one of the parents are coming down and they're whooping Miss Collins' ass. The school's getting sued.
And she's going to lose her job.
Lose her job. Absolutely. No way in hell. Look, I know it's a movie, but did that shit happen when we were kids?
Well, I remember being in first grade, being my teacher, reprimanding me because I was talking in class, and she grabbed she was really known for this. She grabbed my earlobe and her thumbnail went into my ear and it indented my ear. She pulled me out of class and pulled me into the hallway. Well, the hallway was open to the school. It wasn't indoors.
Oh, okay.
So it was in an awning, school atmosphere. So I had to be there until recess time, and then I was allowed back in. But I told my mom about it the next day.
Yeah.
My mom went down to the school, didn't wait to go to the principal's office. She went into the school, into the classroom, into the teacher's face. And she goes, "You ever touch my son again like that?" She goes, "You're looking at for a lawsuit." And she's like waving her finger in her face.
Really?
And that was the last day I was in that first grade class. I ended up being in a different one where the teacher was really cool, but yeah.
What did the teacher say?
So my shitty teacher was Mrs. Wiley, and she was just an old crow, crone, She was just an old biddy.
Yeah. Bitter ass woman.
Bitter at the world.
Life didn't go the way she planned.
Exactly. So, of course, these little kids are like, getting on her nerves, and she probably shouldn't have been a teacher. Because I don't remember me being particularly a terrible kid.
No,
in class.
I don't think so. No, I don't think you were.
I just think that, I like to talk, like just
which every kid does, especially at that age.
Yeah.
Every kid really does, but especially
and I wouldn't shut up.
And you were in first grade.
First grade.
So you were I'm trying to think 6 or 7. Come on, man.
Yeah.
All kids they want to talk. I mean, she should have not been teaching.
No, but my other teacher, I went from Mrs. Wiley's class to Mrs. Silveri's class, and Mrs. Silveri was an older lady. I think even older than Mrs. Wiley. She had white hair or silver hair, but Mrs. Wiley, you could tell she dyed her hair. It was black, but you could tell she dyed her hair because she had wrinkles. But Mrs. Silveri was very sweet. She was like a grandma figure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was very nice. And I did find the name of that idol, that creepy idol.
Oh yeah, what is it?
Saint Sebastian.
Saint Sebastian.
And he was crucified with arrows.
Okay.
So he was crucified by arrows, but I don't know the complete story of
Saint Sebastian. Okay, because that comes into play later on.
Yeah.
But that was what was in the room with Carrie.
Right.
But yeah, so let's Miss Collins basically tells all these girls, hey, what you did was horrible. You're gonna have detention for a week. It was supposed to be you're gonna be suspended for 3 days and no prom.
Right.
But I don't know. They were. I don't know if someone complained. Maybe the principal complained or someone complained, and they got 5 days.
The principal thought it was too harsh. And
so,
then they decided to do her detention.
Yeah,
but it was her detention.
It was her detention, which was basically I'm going to run you into the ground for like PE. Like you're going to be doing push-ups and sit-ups and jumping jacks, and you're going to run and all this shit.
Which when I remember watching. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 when they got in trouble and they had to go and do that guy's detention.
Robert Russler, and then I forget the other guy.
Yeah.
I forget his name. But
Jesse.
I forget his character, the actor's name.
But yeah, I was thinking, that reminds me of Carrie.
It does. Yeah.
Because he was out there just making them, torturing them.
But she tortured the hell out of them. And it was supposed to be for 5 days. And I think Chris only lasted the 1 day, right?
Yeah.
And then, she was just, I think it was like 10 minutes left and she just was done. And her and Chris and Miss Collins got into it, and then Miss Collins ended up slapping her.
Well, yeah, Chris told her to like fuck
F
you.
off, yeah. And then I think even didn't Sue tell her just shut up and just shut up and deal
Chris.
with it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like,
just deal with it.
Let's go, Sue. And it's like, no, you're on your own. It's basically what she's saying.
And so because of that, Chris isn't allowed now to go to the prom. And around this point is when Sue talks with Tommy, played by William Catt, which people would remember him from the greatest American hero and House, which is one of my favorite 80s horror movies. And I'm sure he's done other stuff, but those are the ones I always remember him by. And my God, his hair. Damn, dude, those blonde locks.
Yeah,
holy shit, dude.
He had the white blonde man fro.
Dude, I think his hair was nicer than these chicks, man. I'm like, damn. I must put a lot of product in that. But yeah, he did. He had that like blonde, that 70s blonde fro. Like you would, if you were to watch like old sitcoms from like the 70s, you would see like anyone with blonde hair, you would see that hairdo.
And I want to say he was about 25. And funny little side note. So George Lucas and Brian De Palma did open casting calls for Star Wars and Carrie at the same time.
I think I read that.
And William Catt was considered he auditioned for Luke Skywalker.
Could you see him? Now it's hard because we already know we got Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, but could you look back and see him as
not with that fro?
Not with that blonde fro. But I'm sure George Lucas would have made him cut it the hair like Mark Hamill's was short.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. It's hard, man, because they said like Carrie Fisher she was also auditioning for Carrie.
Yeah.
Was she going to be Carrie?
She wasn't going to be Carrie, but she auditioned.
Yeah. It's funny. It's hard because you're used to certain movies.
Amy Irving was also looking for a Princess Leia.
Was Princess Leia. Yeah. It's weird, man. Yeah. It's like, because you know the movies now with these actors. So it's hard to visualize them as different actors in the movies.
Well, the funny thing is they had them, because what they do with open casting calls, they take a group of 3 and have them run lines together. So some of these actors were running lines for each different movie.
Isn't that funny how that works?
So I would be interested in seeing some of these old, footage of seeing William Catt doing some Luke Skywalker shit with maybe, Amy Irving,
That'd be kind of trippy.
Yeah. That would be really cool.
That would be cool if there's some footage of that somewhere.
Yeah. But they were doing that. And of course, De Palma and Spielberg and Lucas and Scorsese, they were all and Francis Ford Coppola, they were all friends.
Yeah.
They all,
damn. Yeah. I mean, those 5 alone. Holy moly, dude. That's like almost like the Mount Rushmore of like, of like directors. I mean, they were the new Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then who did John Landis come later? But he was friends. He was friends with them, right?
Yeah, he was of the same time,
but not as big as them.
No.
I mean, he did some good movies, but not as big as them.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So Sue asks Tommy, "Hey, take Carrie to the prom."
Right.
And he's, of course, he has reservations about it. He's not quite sure why.
Yeah.
And it's
he's
never,
like, Carrie, why?
Yeah, it's never really explained. We have to fill in that gap. Look, she felt bad and she's trying to make it up to Carrie.
Right.
But, okay, didn't you always think that she was part of what's like in the back of your head? Did you ever think like she's trying to get Carrie back? Or did you always feel like it was like this good deed that she was doing?
I didn't, because I think I've seen the movie so many times when I was younger that I don't think I was ever able to process that.
Yeah.
Because, but a new viewer looking into this, you would think like, oh yeah, she's part of like the plan to because she like excuses herself on the table to go to the prom and all that stuff. And you're thinking that, she wants to be there to
see what's going to happen.
Right.
I mean, and I've seen this, several times, and I still like, it's still in my head, like, God, maybe she is. But I mean, obviously I know she's not, because she was just trying to do a good deed. She felt bad about what happened, earlier in the film with, in the shower scene with, and so she felt bad. And it is a little, I mean, honestly, like if to look back at it, like why couldn't she have just said, "Hey, Tommy, do
Mhm.
you have a friend like that could
Right.
take Carrie out? Like one of your nice, friends. Like Carrie deserves, this." And
Right.
because I always felt it was a little weird to have.
Well, I think what we're led to believe is Tommy was it of the high school. He was the big man on campus.
So that it would
More
be
of an impact.
Yeah, you're right. That is true, because he was like everything, right?
But thinking your lines of thinking makes sense,
Yeah.
but it's like, to give this light to Carrie, because I mean, we'll get to that scene, but that the prom was, I mean, Carrie was like, she was like shown in this new light. She
Really was. She
absolutely gorgeous.
She's gorgeous. Like Carrie at the end of the movie. Well, not the total end, but the build up at the prom, and then what you see at the beginning are two different women.
Yeah. Even the dress, because she makes the dress herself.
Dress is pretty.
Yeah,
she's gorgeous.
Oh yeah,
she's gorgeous, man, and she looks very not only pretty, but she looks just very, I don't know what the word is. Almost classy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm looking at, like, even the girls were like, "God, where did you get that dress?" She goes, "Well,
Right.
I made it."
Like even some of the other girls' dresses that were supposed to be good dresses, they didn't even compare.
No, they didn't at
Yeah.
all. But anyways, yeah, we are jumping a little ahead. But let's see. Okay, so now Chris, her boyfriend is Billy, which is played by John Travolta.
Yeah. and oh my God, their interactions are great.
Oh my, they are. But I wanted to, dude, she kept calling him like an idiot, and he's like, "Stop calling me." And I think he ends up slapping her once.
He slapped her twice.
Slapped her twice.
2 different times.
But it's almost like they get off. They both get off. Like I think he gets
Right.
off a little bit of her calling him an idiot, and then there's just this weird kind of, But yeah, but they're driving. I don't know where they were driving to, but he gets pissed off, and I think they're going to a party. But she coaxes him into doing something. Look, I hate
Right.
Carrie.
Right.
I want to get back at her.
Right.
And so she talks him into it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my fingers up, quote unquote, talks him into it.
Right.
Anyone who's seen the movie knows what I mean by talks him into it.
Because they're driving down the boulevard and, they're talking to
But
friends.
then they park.
Yeah.
And yeah, come on, people, fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
So she has a way of persuading him to do this, which is we're going to go to this. What is this place? Is this like some pig farm? I don't know what this is. What is this?
I think it's like a pig farm, maybe slaughterhouse.
Maybe
pig farm.
I mean, it was super easy for them to get inside, was it not?
It was very easy. And I need to inject something here real quick. So one of De Palma's styles is he does a very it's like a pseudo-sexual style where he really uses sex to an advantage. Think of the opening scene of the shower room, when we're
absolutely, yeah.
The girls, they're I mean, you think about it, of course they're, in their mid-20s, late 20s, but they're we're led to believe that a lot of them are underage. And there's a highly sexual scene of them all showering naked.
Yep.
You see a lot of steamy naked bodies, and the music. Forgot to note that the music by Pino Donaggio.
So and I read on this. Bernard Herrmann was supposed to do the music for this, but he passed away a year prior.
Right.
And so throughout the movie, it sounds like Psycho, because they used Bernard Herrmann's, some of his score from Psycho.
Right.
I probably just paying homage to him, because he was gonna score the soundtrack, or the music to the movie.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, there is a lot of Psycho-ish music, not to mention stuff from Psycho in the movie.
Well,
so it has that sound.
Exactly.
Did you notice? Okay. And before I forget, I wanted to bring this up, and maybe you know about this, but at times during the movie, it feels like a dream. There's like this, almost like this haze.
Oh, it's the filter.
It's the filter.
Yeah.
De Palma did that.
He did it on purpose.
Okay. Is it supposed to feel like a dream? Because I know it was like that in Phantasm, and I would even argue Nightmare on Elm Street. There's this, it's supposed to, now again, in Elm Street, it is a dream.
Right.
but it feels like a dream, and it's not throughout the whole movie, but bits and pieces. And it's like, so was he trying to imply to us, well, maybe this isn't real, or what was he?
No, I think it's in a sense, it's as much of a horror film as this is, and a girl's coming of age film. It's also kind of he's romanticizing. So using that filter, there's just kind of like a romantic quality.
Okay.
It's almost like the teacher is saying it's beautiful, you know?
Yes,
it really is. And he also borrows a lot from, just as like Tarantino does. He does little love letters in his movies. He pieces little things together using Pino Donaggio. He did as well as Ennio Morricone, you know, did music for a lot of the Italian movies, like the spaghetti westerns.
Oh, okay.
You know, Good, Bad, the Ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Pino Donaggio did that as well as, and both of those, as well as giallos.
Oh, okay.
So they, and then a lot of that stuff is influenced from Hitchcock. So it's all kind of tied together. It's almost like he's meant to work with these people because he's influenced by them. You know,
that makes sense, because I mean, I would argue Dressed to Kill is almost like a
giallo.
It is. It really is. It has
the black leather gloved killer.
It has that feel. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, Body Double, I guess. I know. You know what? Body Double does a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
But you know, of course, you know, Dressed to Kill is a lot like Psycho, you know, and it's also a lot like Frenzy, and Body Double's a lot like Rear Window, as well as Vertigo, you know,
which again are all Hitchcock.
Yes.
And so yeah, they all kind of I could see that.
They all kind of tie together.
Makes sense.
But the reason I bring the pseudosexual stuff, because the way that Chris is, her reactions throughout this movie, thence far from, you know, getting slapped from the teacher.
Yeah.
It's almost like she has this orgasmic glee about what she's about to do, asking Billy to do this.
Yeah.
You know, she uses her sexual woes to persuade her own boyfriend.
Yep.
And then when they do go to the slaughterhouse, and he is, you know, hitting the pig, you know, and it's very, they don't show it, but they, you know, it's very implied. She's like, almost like, you know, she's like, she looks like she's coming, you know, lack of a better term, but it's almost like she
gets off on it.
She
does get
off on it.
Yeah.
And then we'll get to the final scene later, but there's another scene that comes back into that play of how she is, you know, there's a lot of that pseudo-sexual kind of flair about this movie.
She definitely uses her you know, her sexuality to get what she wants in this with you know, Billy, John Travolta. And so they basically are getting the pig blood. That's what's happening here.
Right.
They kill the pig, which is just terrible. We don't see it, but it's implied in it. It kind of sucks. But to get their idea is they go to the gym where the prom is going to be, and they rig the bucket full of the pig's blood. And I think they do that the night before, right? I want to say it's the night before.
It is like the night before, which is weird because
how would they have access to the...
Exactly.
I mean, they must know someone, because I mean, it seemed like it was very convenient for them to get into this like after hours at night.
Unless the school's not locked down like it is nowadays.
Dude, all schools were locked down. Dude, they're not just going to give free reins to these kids to do whatever they want. So unless they knew someone, I don't know.
That's true.
But they... Yeah, I mean, and I think at this point it's Billy, it's Chris, and I think Freddie's part of it, right?
Yeah.
And I thought there was one other friend, but I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
So they basically set it up over the stage. Their idea is they're going to rig the votes so that Tommy and Carrie win.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get to that in a little bit, but
now we need to cut to Carrie doing a little research, trying to find out, you know, how is she being able to move things with her mind?
Exactly. And she does a lot of, she goes to the library. Remember those things?
Oh my gosh.
You and I talked about, I think this came up in one of our previous episodes. I can't remember if it was Halloween Hereditary, but you were talking about
It was Halloween.
Was it Halloween about going to the library? Now, I mean, your phone is essentially your library. You can find just about anything on your phone, right, or the computer. But it seems like most days it's your phone. You hop on Google, type whatever, and you find it. But yeah, we had to go to the library. We had to talk to the librarian. We had to, hey,
Use
this is what we're kind of looking
card
for.
catalog.
Go to the card catalog, then go find the books, and then read up on it. And that's what she's doing to figure out why she all of a sudden can move things, by her mind. And now was this, I mean, this was a Stephen King has, and I know this is going to sound weird, but there's Stephen King tropes, right? He will constantly use certain things. Like, I mean, you could argue Firestarter was the same kind of similar, right?
He uses people with telekinesis, and then he also uses people that are writers. A lot of his stories are writers.
Yeah.
Think of Misery and Shining and
he has something with animals too, right? Because Cujo was a story. And then I know, did he do Cat's Eye? Was that like a short story or something?
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember.
It was a short
story. There always
Yeah.
seems to be something with an animal that maybe not in a good way, but that's going to play an important part. But I mean, he does. There's like Stephen King tropes. I've never, and that sounds terrible, I'm just not a reader, folks. And I've never read any of his books.
Yeah.
I don't even think I've read one of his books.
Even Salem's Lot is a writer. It's the story of a writer. Dark Half, story of a writer.
No, I don't think in the
Stand
Mouth.
by Me. Remember the
Stand by Me is a writer, but I was going to say in the Mouth, but that was a John Carpenter. I don't think that had anything to do with Stephen King. But yeah, he writers. Yeah, always.
So it's always his perspective.
Yeah. Well, I mean, The Shining. Right?
Yeah.
You said The Shining, right?
Shining, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because, Jack Torrance is a writer. Well, he wants to be at least. And so, yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, but I just think there's certain tropes, I think that are certain things that repeat in all of Stephen King stuff. And, and so, she says she does the research to figure out what's going on. She has reservations when Tommy invites her to the prom.
Oh, and he comes to her house too.
Yeah,
he asked her at school, and then
he asked her in the library, right?
Yeah, he asked her in the library, and then
she turned him down.
She turned him down, and then he comes to her house, and then she doesn't want her. She goes, "Mama's resting right now," but she was very apprehensive for Mama not to see Tommy.
No,
yeah.
Then she finally just says, "Okay." But I mean, yeah, she has it's like, and she should have reservations. Why are you asking me?
Yeah.
Like, we're in class together. You probably not said a word to me ever. Not to mention everyone treats me like an outcast, treats me like crap. And really, like, she's smart enough to know.
Right.
Okay, what's going on here? Because I think there's that scene with her and Miss Collins outside of the school, and Miss Collins is yeah, I mean, I Miss Collins has reservations as well, because I think she eventually sits down with Sue and Tommy and says, what is your end game here?
Oh yeah.
But okay, so there's that scene where Miss Collins is talking with Carrie, and she's saying, "Look, Carrie, you're so pretty, your hair and this and that." And then it looks like Miss Collins almost looks at herself, like her own, like, not necessarily mortality, but like
she sees herself in Carrie.
Maybe. Or maybe she's realizing that she's, I mean, in real life, we know they're similar in age, but in this, for the sake of the movie, you got a 17-year-old and whatever age I am. And maybe she's, I don't know, almost like not really reminiscing, but second guessing, or, her decisions on being a teacher, and this, I don't know. Or maybe maybe she does.
And it might be more, realized in the novel, which I read the novel when I was 6th grade, 7th grade, so it's been a long time, so I may have missed that, and it might be in the novel. The novel's very small, but that might be in there. I do know that there are some things that are different than De Palma's version that happened in the novel, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. But I mean, she says yes. Right.
Yeah.
Miss Collins has the little meeting with Tommy and Sue, I mean, basically we just thought it'd be nice, or more so Sue. I just thought it'd be nice that Carrie has this night, and she needs it, kind of deserves it. And I feel bad about what happened.
Right.
And so, So then, yeah, man. I mean, so Carrie's getting ready. She makes her gown, her dress. She is at the I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is a beauty store or just a store where she's trying lipstick on.
Yeah. And then we have to go into like the tux montage.
The tux montage. Oh
which
my God.
that music is
bad. It's
so bad.
It's not good. Yeah.
It reminded
almost like a porn.
It reminded me of a late 70s porn.
Yes.
I've seen porns with that music. So
I just didn't feel like, to me, honestly, that montage wasn't necessary.
It wasn't necessary. And I believe it's not in the book.
It's not. It doesn't need to be.
No.
Honestly, if you removed that, you're not really adding anything to the movie.
Right.
So if you're not adding anything, just take it out.
Right.
Like, we could have concentrated more on Carrie, her whatever she's doing to get ready,
Right.
And so, she's back at home and she's getting ready. And of course, mom's freaking out, dude.
Yeah. Oh, I think before that, she was saying, Mom, I'm going to go to the prom. And then they're having a nice dinner. Remember, by candlelight, her and her mother.
Oh, yeah.
And her mother, she
throws something at her.
She throws
water
her water, at her.
Yeah.
And just drenches Carrie's face. Just it's like she's so controlling that she's disrespectful to Carrie.
She is.
Yeah.
But Carrie, it's surprising how, I think just because so many years of it, Carrie takes it and she takes it.
She takes it.
Like, I look at it like, if you were doing that to me,
yeah,
I'm like, damn, I'm shocked she hasn't whooped her mom's ass or something.
But you know what? Carrie acts like a beaten dog.
Yeah.
And I hate using that analogy with human beings, but it's the truth. She acts like a whipped dog, and she's probably so used to this behavior.
She is.
She just accepts it.
She does, because I think she'd rather just accept it than deal with the consequences, which is there always just seems to be a consequence with the mother. Like, nothing is ever good enough for the mother, and she
wants to keep her in a little bubble in her mother's life, or her mother wants to keep her in her life and never get married or go off or do nothing like that.
That is just a miserable way to live,
to exist with, and she has no friends.
None.
She has her mother, and that's it.
Yeah.
And but I think, like I was saying, this is just like a little slice in Carrie's life, and it starts the narrative of this complete story. Is when she has her her period, and she gets her powers. I think she knows that she's got something special now.
Yeah.
That she's able to fight back. Because when, she was taken into, after she came out and she goes, it's too late for dinner, go to your room, when that happened. And then she, cracks the mirror on the above her bed, or next to her bed. So now the mirror's cracked. So, going to her getting ready, she's getting ready in the cracked mirror,
almost like a split, almost like there's two sides to her, even though there's not, but maybe she sees herself as that.
That was implied.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah. But isn't there some exposition with the mother where she talks about Carrie's dad, where they had never had sex, but then there was this,
this is towards the end.
Was that towards the end? Yeah.
It's almost the end.
Is it at the end?
Mm-hmm.
Was it after Carrie gets back, or was that before? I thought
it's after Carrie gets back.
It is after she gets back. Oh,
and after she takes her bath.
That's right. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself.
It's okay.
Sometimes I always forget in the sequence in which the scenes with the mother.
Right.
Because they're very powerful scenes, but
extremely powerful.
But Carrie's getting ready and the mother's freaking out. She's pacing back and forth, which, damn, that was nerve wracking.
Oh yeah.
And then of course
then she's pulling on her hair, and she's like, they're all going to laugh at you.
They're all going to laugh at you. And then I think
she's not going to laugh, Mama. It's not going to be like that, and Carrie's trying to be positive.
She is trying. Yes. She's looking at the silver lining, and she's trying not to let anything that the mother is doing, which would be very hard, to distract her from what's happening. She's getting ready and she's excited about this. She shows the corsage, and she's just so excited about it.
And her dress is so beautiful, and she made it, and her mother saw her make it.
And she looks so...
And she goes, I knew it'd be red, and it's not red, Mom, it's pink.
I mean...
Because she said red, because it's... like a harlot would wear red.
Yeah, but it's not. It's pink, and she looks gorgeous, and then And then the
I
mother
can see your dirty pillows.
Yeah, I see your dirty pillows. Yeah. Oh my God.
They're not pillows, Mama. They're breasts.
Yeah. And then I think, doesn't she like push, like with her mind, push the mom down on the bed a couple times?
Well, she's looking out the window because she thinks that, Tommy's coming, but it's just cars going by.
Yeah.
And nope, he's not coming for you.
See, he's not coming. He's not coming.
And then of course, Carrie's already nervous as it is. So
my God.
So she's got nerves that, that she's going to this thing and that she's been asked and she's waiting for him and that she doesn't need this in her ear. So her mom being negative and it's all compounding. So when she's ready to leave her, she pushes her mom down on the bed and
with her mind.
And
I think she does it twice. And then the mom is kind of freaked out.
And then, she closes all the windows and she closes the door and then her mom's like, witch.
Yeah, witch.
And it's like, I'm not a witch, Mama. I can do this with my mind. She's like, well, it's, you're the hand of the devil.
Yeah. And so then Tommy picks her up.
He's like, wow.
Yeah.
You could see it in his face that he's like, God damn, she's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And they go and then we cut to Sue, having dinner with her family.
Yeah. And she's like, eating dinner quick so she can head out to go see.
It's like, what time is it? And then she's like, oh, I got to run, you know? And then like you were saying, if you had never seen this before, it's like, okay, well, why is she such in a hurry to go, go to, why wouldn't she have gotten there earlier or whatever? So anyway, we cut to them getting to the prom.
Yeah. And they pull up in the car and Carrie wants to just kind of chill for a second. And I think just to kind of just get ready for what she's going to experience, because this is going to be
calm her nerves a little bit.
Overwhelming for her. And so and I mean they do prom stuff, right?
Yeah. they go in and and a lot of, like we were talking about earlier, a lot of the girls are just like, wow, that's Carrie White,
Yeah. A lot of, there's a lot of that. Like people are kind of talking, oh my God, that's Tommy with Carrie, and wow.
Because I think they really thought that Carrie would show up like, looking like a, greasy hair.
Like she's going to wear like a bag for a dress
like
or something.
Something up to her neck and, just,
I mean, I would easily argue she was probably the prettiest, girl there. And she was stunning. And so she's still hesitant to warm up to the situation, and she, her and Tommy talk a little bit. And then I think Miss Collins comes up and chats with her a little bit. And I think it kind of calms her. Yeah. Calms her down a little bit. She becomes more comfortable with Tommy and the whole situation. And then he finally talks her into dancing and they have that, the nice dance and, just, if anything, it's just stuff that normal stuff that would happen at a prom. And I think just normalcy as a whole with her is wanted, right? Like she doesn't have any of that with her mother. There's no normalcy at all.
No.
So having that even for one night is just,
it's like a break on her life.
Yeah. And so, and you could tell she's having a good time and she's happy and all these things. But
you can also tell there's a difference in Tommy too. He is really just, and he's very comforting with his words, and it's not fake. You could tell that Sue and Tommy are really like good kids. They're not any of the other kids.
No.
They really want what's best for, for Carrie. And I really, that scene with the dancing, it starts speeding up where they're going around and they're talking normal, but it's almost making you dizzy.
It is,
and that's that style that De Palma used.
He does, and then again, it's that haze. It almost feels like it's not real. It almost feels like a dream or a fairy tale or something. And it's, and you're right. It is his style, and then at this time is when the ballots come out. And of course, it has probably 5 or 6 couples, and then Tommy and Carrie are on the bottom. And it's funny that she's like, I don't want to vote for ourselves. That's so like kind of, I don't know.
Yeah. Bad luck,
or just kind of shallow, right? We're voting for ourselves. And it's, but they do anyway.
Yeah, he's like, throw caution to the wind.
Let's just do it.
Let's just do it.
Let's just do it. And then look, they were going to win no matter what because the
Norma and Freddie rigged the ballots.
Yeah, they rigged the ballots. And so the whole idea, folks, if you haven't seen Carrie, is to get Tommy more so Carrie on that stage.
Right.
Underneath that bucket. And damn, dude, that's just messed up. But this is what I love about De Palma. He has this way of building up this climax or tension like most directors can't do.
Mm-hmm.
And he does it. And this, to me, it's like, because we know what's going to happen.
Right.
But it's this slow build up.
It is a build.
And it's so, Carrie and Tommy win. They're on the stage.
And then we have
Billy and Chris underneath the stage. And then we have Sue just kind of peeking in and all of these different elements and other people that kind of know what's going to happen.
And you could see Chris licking her lips like it's orgasmic.
Yeah.
You know? Like she's like, she can't wait to,
Yeah. And it's just, and that's the thing. It's
she has
like
her hands on the rope, and
just can't wait, dude. And that's what I understand she hates Carrie. She loathes her. And it's like, well, God, what kind of person do you have to be to get to that point
to hate somebody that doesn't
so much to do this,
right?
To do this in front of your entire senior class and faculty. And this means so much to her. And
the crazy thing is Carrie doesn't bother anybody.
No, at all. She just does her thing. She just keeps to herself. And whether you
Sue's such a mean, or not Sue, but Chris is such a mean girl that
she is. She plays it well.
She can't look past.
No, she can't.
She inflicts herself into Carrie's life.
She sees red. All she sees is red with Carrie. Like she can't look past anything else. It looks to me like other people can look past it. Chris cannot.
Mm-mm.
And Billy's just going along for the ride, man. He's drinking. He's he's
gonna do what Chris wants because
exactly she dictates everything. She controls everything with him, and so yeah. And then this very long build up, which again, I'm not saying long in the sense that it drags, because it doesn't drag.
No.
And it's very necessary. And then and it's this slow motion, right? It's this kind of slow-mo.
It's like a bomb's gonna go off.
Yeah.
And then that's very reminiscent of what Hitchcock did. Just that build. Something's gonna happen. You're just anticipating when it's gonna happen.
And then Sue sees she kind of starts to see this rope moving, and then she
pieces it all together.
Yeah.
She's like following it along with her eyes.
And they did a good job of wrapping it with the streamers.
Right.
And then she sees the silhouettes of Billy and Chris. And so she runs again. It's a slow motion. But then Miss Collins sees her and she thinks that Sue's going to do something bad.
Like run on stage or something.
Yeah. This was her inclination earlier, why Tommy did you invite her, but she's just really trying to intervene to stop this because she sees Chris and Billy. And so then Miss Collins, gets her before she can stop the thing, pushes her outside, which really saves her. Go ahead. And so did you want to intervene something?
No. Oh, no, I'm good.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you wanted to insert some key element.
No, you're good.
Sorry.
No.
And so
go for it.
And so Miss Collins pushes Sue out, which again saves Sue, because then the bucket drops all over Carrie.
Oh my God.
And she is covered in pig's blood.
Oh, but before it drops, Sue gets out of the, and the doors close.
Yeah, she gets out of the auditorium.
Yeah.
Because Miss Collins thinks she has something to do with it.
She pushes her out.
The
doors close.
And doors close. But she gets, dude, it's just horrible. It's just a horrible.
The bucket of blood just goes all over Carrie. And then, of course, the only one laughing is Norma. She's like, nobody else is laughing.
No, Norma's laughing, but see, in Carrie's head, she thinks
Carrie's
of
so shocked that what happened. She's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then even Tommy, you could see him like
Tommy
mouthing.
Was pissed,
he's like,
dude.
What the hell?
Or something like that. And then
the bucket
falls.
Slow.
Dude, there's okay. I love this scene where the streamer slowly falls down and,
Right.
and how De Palma captures that.
Right.
Oh my God, dude. It's just, every single time I see it, it's just, and it sounds dorky, but it's a breathtaking scene because something horrible has just happened and it's horrible. But this stream, it's so stupid, dude. I know, but I geek out over little things like that when I see something captured and it's so simple, but I recognize it. And it's just this streamer just circling down to the ground when all this horrible situation has happened. This horrible event has happened.
And we have to tell the people that haven't seen this that the bucket, the blood falls out of the bucket, but the bucket hasn't fallen yet.
Not yet, but it does. It falls and it hits Tommy in the head, knocks him out. And I mean, in the story, he has a concussion. Yeah, which would make sense.
Yeah, and he's dead now.
Yeah.
So basically, they killed him.
And so, but Carrie thinks of what her mother said. They're all going to laugh at you because most of the people in the crowd were horrified.
Right.
And then of course Norma starts laughing, and then
she's all hitting others to laugh too.
Yeah. So this is the thing, Morris. This is where I want you to. I want you, because maybe I just missed this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's just in Carrie's head that everyone is laughing?
Oh yeah.
Or because it didn't look like they were laughing, and then all of a sudden she's thinking they're laughing at her.
It's in her head. Because even her gym teacher is laughing.
Yes, and Miss Collins would not do that.
Laugh. No, it's in her head. She, at this point, this is the point where Carrie, the switch has been flipped.
Okay. Yeah.
And Carrie is like, really? This you guys. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Dude. And then she went all Carrie.
She went all
Carrie on
because
them.
And this is, and like you were saying with the streamer, this is the scene I love because when when that switch is flipped, and they do the split screen, and then her head tilts.
Oh my God!
And then we go to the red light. She makes all the lights turn red. All the lights are red. It's like a blood red, and that's all so beautiful.
Yeah,
because you know that shit's gonna hit the fan. Dude, and that's exactly what happens.
It's carnage, basically.
So she locks all the doors. No one can get out.
No one can get out,
and no one can get in.
Nope.
It's and which is funny because the newer version that came out, with Julianne Moore and Chloe Grace Moretz, was supposed to be an adaptation of the novel, and they were supposed to do some different stuff, and basically it was a remake of De Palma's movie.
It was the same thing, yeah.
But they didn't use that scene effectively. It's terrible. In my opinion, it's terrible just because, for one thing, nobody gets out of the gymnasium in the story, and that's what
in the actual story. So
De Palma uses that.
Yeah, because we know that Chris and Billy get out.
Yeah,
they get out because they go through the back. They get out,
and they get out before
before shit hits the fan. Yeah, because Carrie goes. She goes a little.
And I love this scene. Yeah.
No, dude, this and I never saw that remake that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't see how you can ever recapture that.
No,
you can't.
You can't.
I just don't see how you can do it.
Even the one from the 90s, I just rewatched that one not that long ago. With oh gosh, what's her name? Angela Bettis. She's the girl that played in May. She plays awkward perfect.
Oh yeah.
But she was not that great. I can't say I guess I've built up Sissy Spacek in my head to be the ultimate Carrie because there's just nobody that acts like her. And some of the style, the shooting style that TV remake did it just didn't do that scene justice.
Yeah.
De Palma does the scene they can't ever capture what he did.
You can't, man. Not to mention
it's terrifying because there's no music too.
Yeah.
It's just like a drone.
Yeah.
And then you see what's happening. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, to me, and I don't know if you would agree, because you and I know this is 76 and it has a 70s feel, there was something about 70s horror movies that made you even if it wasn't music or anything happening, it made you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's what this scene does. It's reminiscent of 70s horror.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so but she just, enough was enough. She basically killed everyone, folks.
She took the the hoses, and
the fire hose that
she sprayed everybody with the hose. And then at that point, that's when the electronics were all falling
down, and then
into the water.
Miss Collins got the what was that, like overhead lighting?
Oh no,
it swings down, or what?
No,
was
it was
that?
the backboard of the.
Oh, was it the backboard?
It was the backboard of the basketball hoop.
Oh, and it comes down and hits her and basically almost
cuts her in half.
Yeah, and then I know people are trying to get out of doors, but they can't. And then there's a fire that starts. People are getting electrocuted.
Mr. Fromm was being electrocuted.
Oh, because it grabbed the microphone, right?
With the principal,
Mr. Morton. Yeah. They grabbed because they're trying to keep people calm. And then, the fire hose hit it, electrocuted them. And no one.
And then, the electricity was causing the fire. There was like full on fire. Everyone's
full on fire. Yeah.
Everybody's trapped in there. And then, Carrie's making her slow descent down the stage.
Yep.
Out the door, but closes the doors behind her, and everybody in there.
In the meantime, Billy and Chris are watching this transpire going, oh my God, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
And so, and I love this when Carrie is slowly walking out. The whole auditorium is engulfed in flames, dude. And she's I just love the effect because it looked real, dude. It looked like she was literally walking through fire.
Yeah.
And so she walks out, and it
almost seems like it's around the track, doesn't it? Like where she's walking, and then they're like driving up on her.
I think a fire truck passes her by, and this is where Billy and Chris are coming in Billy's car, but Chris is driving because I think he's hammered, dude.
Yeah.
And so she's going to kill Carrie. She's going to run her over, and then of course Carrie turns around, does her telekinetic, and flips the car over.
Car's flipping so many times,
dude, and then it just blows up
in flames.
So they're and then she walks home. But there's this very sinister robotic feel of Carrie where, like,
the way she moves,
the way she moves and turns her head, it almost kind of reminded me of Michael Myers. So almost disconnected from any humanity, like. I don't know. That's the best way I can explain it. But she gets home, and the whole house is, dude. It's dark. It's candles and everything. She can't find her mother, but she walks up to her room, and it's funny, man. I always forget that the mother is behind the door. Like you can see half of her.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like this.
She's like a creeper.
Yeah, like panning out. Like you don't see her at first, and then it's almost like it starts to slowly come into focus.
Yeah, she goes in there and Carrie goes and bathes, and
to get all the blood off,
and then she puts her nightgown on, and mother's been there the entire. Oh, and we have to add that her mother lit like probably a million, 2,000 freaking candles all over the house.
Everywhere.
The house is just illuminated with candles.
Yeah. And so, and then that's where that's where I was talking about earlier, where she talks about, sinning basically.
And she sees her, and then she kind of crashes into her mother's arms for comfort because that's the only person that she knows.
Yes, that's a normal reaction.
Good or bad. Her mom has always been there for her.
Yeah.
She's always been her constant. And her mother tells her the story.
Yeah.
That she and her father were married, but she never gave up sex to him.
Yeah.
And until the one night where he basically came home drunk and he took it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she liked it.
But she said she liked it. Yeah. And so
that Roadhouse whiskey on his breath.
Yeah. She felt dirty.
I liked it. I loved it.
Yeah. That's pretty much what she said. Yeah. And she sinned. And I don't think she had sinned ever since then, but had Carrie. Carrie was a result of that.
Of that sin. Yeah. And then she thinks that because, Carrie is the result of that. And because Carrie has these powers, the hands of the devil.
Yeah.
That's the result of her sinning.
Yeah.
So the way to excommunicate that is to get rid of Carrie.
To get rid of Carrie, and she puts a knife in Carrie's back, which is just a fucked up scene.
Which she falls down the stairs.
Yeah.
And that scene's so creepy. As creepy it is for Carrie to be in the auditorium, turning her head quickly to the the violins, the
Yeah.
reet, reet,
Yeah.
reet, that
Yeah.
it's also the creepiest scene with her mother coming down the stairs doing the sign of the cross with knife, the butcher knife, with that grin that just,
dude, it's crazy. She's psycho, man.
She just does the best.
No, she
insane grin. And I think the ilk of those types of actresses like Piper Laurie, because Piper Laurie's a little bit younger than say like Joan Collins and Betty Davis.
Yeah.
But that's they've been acting from, the 30s and the 40s and that ilk of that type of actress.
Yeah.
I mean, they're high in the game.
Yeah.
Because you could tell that they were like Piper Laurie's acting was just fucking off the charts.
Oh, it was.
She embodied
it was phenomenal.
the nut. People can act crazy and be too much. It can be like you and I could act crazy. But for her to have that calm crazy where it's like boiling inside of her her body and little bits come up every once in a while. And just like when she's talking to Sue's mother about, that, she's reading, you could tell that Sue's mother was like, I'll drink to that, and then she's like, she looked at her and she got kind of scared of Margaret White a little bit. It's an
uneasiness. Yeah. There's an uneasiness about her. Yeah.
You're not quite sure where she's like that. She's like that pit bull dog that you poke too much that she might just fucking lash out. And that's what she does at the end of this movie.
Yeah, she does.
And she, she's making the sign of the cross. And then before she can stab Carrie again at the bottom of the stairs, that's when Carrie pins her mother up against the wall.
Yeah, with all the basically knives and whatever was sharp that she could,
peelers and things from the drawers in the kitchen.
Whatever she could, basically use with her mind to throw at her mom, she threw. What's that saying? Everything but the kitchen sink. Which is kind of
exactly.
And but what was cool is the way she got her on the walls was similar to that thing you were talking about.
Saint Sebastian.
Saint Sebastian was very, very,
because I think
very similar, almost identical.
Because I think Carrie's, like we said, that's a place where she spent a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's probably embedded subconsciously in her mind that's how she pinned her against the wall. And when she was getting pinned, did you notice that each gasp that she did was again orgasmic?
Yeah, I did kind of notice that.
Dude, I noticed it every single time. She was like, like smiling,
a lot of sexual undertones,
very sexual.
Yeah.
And
but that's Brian De Palma, man. That's his signature, right? Almost.
Absolutely.
And so, but I mean, she feels bad right after.
And then her mom passes.
Yeah, her mom passes, and then she grabs her off of the wall, and then the house starts to crumble. Now, okay, so explain this to me, dude. Why is the house crumbling?
Well, in the book, Carrie is calling like rocks from the skies, to destroy the house. So that's basically what's happening.
Okay.
So she's destroying the house with her anger. Her anger's so intense. She hulked out.
She hulked out. Okay. So she's okay.
Or so she's kind of like Scarlet Witch in a way too. You think of like that, in more modern times, Scarlet Witch does kind of the similar thing where her powers are so intense that she just, it's her emotions that are making.
But at the same time, do you feel that she knew that she's these powers are, I don't know, she can't control these things, and what she's done to everyone and her, including her mom, is a bad thing. And so she feels that she needs to kind of pay for that?
Possibly that's the way to interpret it, but it wasn't like that in the story.
No. Okay.
So possibly with the movie, but also possibly that she's just so, distraught, that, she can't control her emotions.
Yeah.
Now her mother, the only constant that she ever had in her life, only friend that she ever had was her mother.
Good or bad, it's always her mom. So that's her.
Now she's dead.
Safe, and it's now gone. And it's
So then she kills herself too, as well.
Yeah. Because the house basically burns up, and
it burns, and I mean she. I think we see her dead with blood in her mouth. And she crumbled, and the only thing standing at that moment before we cut to black was that Saint Sebastian
Yeah.
with the glowing eyes.
With the glowing eyes. Yeah.
That thing
Yeah.
was so creepy.
It is, man. I think just stuff it's funny, man, because, and we've talked about this in the past. I never really went to church and I was never religious, but religious stuff is it makes me uncomfortable. Not religion as a whole.
Right.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, I know
Just
exactly what you're saying.
The Saint Sebastian, it makes you feel uneasy or uncomfortable.
Oh, dude, I've had that growing up.
Yeah,
I grew up Catholic.
I know.
And I was an altar boy. Never was fondled. Want to add that in there. But a lot of the imagery, a lot of the statues. I have that that phobia where I'm where mannequins and I forget what it's called. It's an whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's a fear of mannequins, a fear of statues, fear of things that look human, but aren't human.
Okay.
I have that fear, and I have recurring nightmares throughout my entire life of this stuff. So anytime I see a statue, like you go to a cemetery, and then there's a full grown, or like a life size, or even bigger than life size statue, it fucking freaks me the fuck out. Any of those movies, like with Ray Harryhausen, where the statue comes to life, that shit scares the shit out of me. So anytime I see like you see an angel statue, I'm afraid that the wings are gonna fly open and then grab me and fly up to the sky, and that shit. That's probably one of the things that scares me the worst. Yeah. So just the statue of the Saint Sebastian with the glowing eyes, it's creepy as fuck. It's the thing of my nightmares, so it affects me deeply that way.
Yeah. More so probably you than me.
Oh yeah.
Because I didn't really I never really had a religion. I never really went to church much. I just knew it wasn't my thing. And it's, and I've said this in previous episodes, and it just wasn't something I was into. And my family really never went to church. And so, I don't never begrudge anyone for doing it. It just wasn't what I did.
Right.
I wasn't into it.
People grew up differently.
And the small experiences I had, I was very uncomfortable.
Right.
I think that's the best word. I was very uncomfortable when I went to anything that had to do with religion. I went to, I went to baptisms and I mentioned this in a previous episode. Those scared me.
Yeah.
I was very uneasy, very uncomfortable with baptisms. I didn't understand it, and I just thought it was very strange.
Yeah. The whole idea, the washing of water,
dunking the people in the water was just odd to me. Now, mind you, I was younger then as well. I was probably maybe 10 to 12. But, now it probably wouldn't freak me out as much. But
I mean, even think about other religions, other Christian religions do it too. But I'll talk about Catholicism. So, the Catholics, they eat they have the chalice with the blood of Christ.
Yeah.
They have the wafer that's supposed to embody the body of Christ.
Yeah.
So you think about eating flesh and drinking blood.
I mean,
that's
it's strange.
It's creepy.
Right?
Yeah.
It's strange. I mean, I don't,
Yeah. If I could separate myself from it, which I can, it's like, and take a step back. It's like thinking about that kind of stuff. It's like, that's a little grim. If from looking at it at a certain perspective, again, and be very clear to everyone, I am not putting down any religion. No.
But if you look at it from an outsider and then you say what you just said, it sounds strange.
It does.
It sounds like if you were to tell a kid, like,
I don't know, the body of Christ, drink
his blood.
Yeah.
You're like, what? What are you doing here to me? So
it almost sounds, lack of a better way of explaining it, it almost sounds a little cultish, a little satanic.
It does. It does. It does.
But you think of all these
if you strip that down and just say that, because all the other stuff, I haven't done it, so I don't know all the ins and outs of it. And so, I'm not saying it's a cult or any of that. I'm just saying, as an outsider looking in, if you're a young outsider, a kid,
right,
dude, that's hard. That's a lot to process and to understand.
Well, think of man's deepest, darkest, visions and nightmares with religion from the beginning of time. It's all been kind of like that, where you've, you worship gods that are the mightier gods, think of the Egyptians, think of, the Native Americans. They have these powerful beings that you pray to, but they could also destroy you. They could kill you.
Yeah.
And you have to do their will and you have to walk their way. If you don't do that, then there's going to be some sort of punishment for that.
Some consequences to it, which is,
And then think of like the Mayans that, you know, did human sacrifices on top of the, you know, and cutting out the hearts and stuff. I mean, it all kind of boils down to what the different factions of religion have kind of branched off from.
Yeah.
And think of Catholicism drinking the blood.
Yeah.
You know, you think of human sacrifice.
I know. That's
crazy. I mean, it all kind of ties to this huge tree, this big tree trunk, all these different branches of religion.
Yep, exactly.
And what goes on in the mind of us as humans, you know, we have a lot, the mind is extremely powerful. And the way that we can, I want to say, I'm going off on a whole other tangent, but I'm talking about religion now. And I should probably just, you know, cut the brakes and stop right there. But the thing is we go to places that we've never experienced, because I really do think that our mind can, from the beginning of time, you know, kind of manifest these things.
Sure.
You know, and we'll think of insanity, think of, you know, there's fine lines between insanity and insanity.
Yeah.
Even with religion, it's like, how many times do you think that maybe one guy saw something in his brain or manifested something? You even think of the dark. When you look at something in the dark, it's like, what is that?
Yeah.
Your imagination starts playing. And then you find out that it's freaking a shirt that's hanging on a door. You know?
Yeah. In your mind, you've built up something. It could be a figure.
Yeah.
Okay. A perfect example. Let's say you're around someone. I don't know. They have a rash. And all of a sudden, you're 6 feet away from them and haven't been that close to catch anything. All of a sudden, you're itching.
Yeah.
Or if,
because it's psychosomatic.
Psychosomatic. Remember when you were in school and you heard a friend had lice and all the cooties. Yeah. And all of a sudden you're itching and all these things. Or if someone,
the mind is powerful that way, man.
It is. Like I do that to myself sometimes, where if I'm talking to someone on the phone and they're sick, all of a sudden I start coughing or sneezing. It's so weird.
Or yawning. Think of yawning.
Yawning. Yeah. So our minds play tricks on us, man.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. With religion, I think, you know, going to the deepest parts of, you could be whatever religion you can believe or not believe. But I think even people that don't believe in anything are saying they're atheists, which is true. I mean, they believe in themselves, but I think that all in all, man, I think our mind is probably, I honestly believe there's something greater out there. I have to believe that, whether it's, you know, and I'm still a Christian person.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's always that little bit of, you know, could it be, you know, another race that raised us, you know, is it, you know, is it this one being that takes care of everything? But also, is it also what's developed in our mind of what's manifested?
We could do a series of episodes just on that.
Yeah.
We really could. I mean, for us to think we're alone in this universe is just, I'm not going to say naive. I'm not going to put down what anyone believes, but dude, we're just a little blip on a radar, man. That's all us, we are, man. I mean, the universe is almost limitless, right? So, you know, so I don't know.
And even our rock that we're on is so fucking tiny in the vastness of this.
We're
universe.
Like a damn, I don't know. We're like a kernel of rice or corn, man, in this whole scope of things. We're just a small little dot.
And think about it. We're only here for a fraction of a moment, a blink.
Yep. Exactly.
Our lifetime is a blink.
So, and I don't know what it is, man. I don't know. I'm, like I said, I'm not religious, but I think there's probably some higher being out there. I don't know what it is. I'm not gonna say it's this or that, but everyone thinks differently, and that is okay. It's totally fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, and that's what I think makes us great, is we're all very unique. None of us are the same, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, but I don't know how we got. Oh, we're talking about Saint Sebastian.
Oh yeah, we did talk about Saint Sebastian.
Sorry, we went down a rabbit hole on that one.
We totally did.
I don't know, man. I'll be honest. The rabbit holes are never intentional. I like those rabbit holes,
Yeah, 'cause
man. I really do.
They make things interesting.
But yeah, so Carrie and her mother die. Sue she wakes up because she had this traumatic experience. She wakes up, right? And but she has that vision of
so there we go through that dreamy, foggy
Vaseline, that haze that I was talking about.
Yeah, it's almost like they rub Vaseline on the lens.
It's weird, yeah.
And she's walking to where Carrie's house used to be.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of rocks.
It's a bunch of rocks for sale.
And it says Carrie burns in hell or something.
Carrie burns in hell.
Yeah.
Written in like a red, on top of the for sale sign.
And then she goes to kind of, in a sense, pay her respects, right?
Right.
I think she has flowers, and then the hand comes up from the ground to grab her.
And grabs her hand.
And Carrie grabs her, but then she wakes up and
then her mother's trying to like comfort her.
She's hysterical.
And she's holding onto her arm.
Yeah.
And then you notice how she looks down like she's not quite awake yet, and she's just looking at her arm like she's and like she's terrified.
She is.
She thought that Carrie grabbed her, and it was really her mother.
She's bringing her to hell, man. Yeah. She's bringing her to hell
because she must have sinned somehow and crossed Carrie.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Such a good movie.
No, it is. It is a really good movie. De Palma is one of his better. I mean, like I like De Palma movies, but it's definitely one of his better ones. For sure. I think as a whole, music is great. Acting's phenomenal. Dude, the story. Obviously, we gave our props to Stephen King.
Mm-hmm.
The actors are phenomenal in this. Like, if you've never seen this movie, I mean, just even if you're,
we even have like Edie McClurg as one of the bad girls, which is a staple in like John Hughes movies.
Oh my God, I know.
And to think that was she? Yeah, she was like 36, dude, when she made this.
Yeah, and she had the big glasses and stuff. But no, I mean, just alone, like even if you're not in a horror, just as a whole, just Sissy Spacek and Piper Laurie's performances are phenomenal in this. I mean, and then De Palma's just puts his signature on this stamp, and it's a great movie. And look, yes, it's 76 and it's dated, but in the scheme of things as a horror movie, it completely holds up. It's still a classic, man.
Oh, it is.
And so I would say absolutely, if you haven't seen it and we haven't ruined it for you, go watch it. I mean, you're gonna,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Carrie, man.
That's
Carrie. Carrie White. So anyways, anything else, man, that we left out? I don't think so.
I think we've talked about just about every single thing.
Yeah, I think that's it, man. Well, anyways, everyone, thanks again for listening, and I don't know, stay safe out there. We got fall upon us, and it's getting a little colder and a little rainier, but anyways, tune in next time. You listened all the way to the end. We appreciate that. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Ear for Fear Podcast, Twitter at Ear for Fear, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Ear for Fear Podcast. You can also check out our website, earforfear.com. There we list news and events. We're available on all the main platforms, so make sure you tell a friend. We hope you come back and get an earful.